There are moments in life that split your world into before and after. Moments so small, so seemingly insignificant, that you don't recognize them as they're happening. A wrong turn that leads you to the right person. A missed flight that saves your life. A door left unlocked when it should have been locked. For me, that moment came on a Tuesday in March at exactly 2:47 p.m. when I walked into my roommate's bedroom without knocking. I should have knocked. God, I should have knocked, but we'd been roommates for 8 months. And in those 8 months, we've developed that comfortable familiarity that makes you forget about boundaries. We'd seen each other in pajamas, sick with the flu, drunk after bad dates, angry after worse work days. We'd shared midnight pizza and early morning coffee and everything in between. So when I got home early from my shift at the bookstore and heard music coming from Jake's room, I didn't think twice. I just pushed open his door. He never locked it, ready to ask if he wanted to split Ann. Order of Thai food for dinner. The door swung open, and there he was, Jake. My roommate, my straight roommate, kissing another man. Time did that thing it does in movies, where everything slows down and speeds up simultaneously. I saw Jake's hands tangled in the other guy's dark hair. I saw the way they were pressed against Jake's desk, bodies close, intimate in a way that made my stomach flip. I saw the exact moment Jake's eyes opened and met mine over the other guy's shoulder. I saw the panic flood his face. Oh my God, I said. Or maybe I just thought it. My brain was short-circuiting. I'm sorry. I didn't shoot of sorry. I backed out of the room so fast, I nearly tripped over my own feet. The door slammed shut. Jake must have kicked it closed, and I stood in the hallway. Heart pounding, mind racing, trying to process what I'd just seen. Jake was kissing a guy. Jake, who had a girlfriend for the first 6 months we lived together. Jake, who talked about women he found attractive. Jake, who I'd assumed stupidly, carelessly assumed was straight. Jake, who I'd been harboring a secret, hopeless crush on since approximately the second week of living together. I made it to my room on autopilot, closed the door, and sat down on my bed. My hands were shaking. My whole body was shaking. This was fine. This was totally fine. So what if I'd just walked in on my roommate kissing another man? So what if that meant everything I thought I knew about him was wrong? So what if the guy I'd been pining after for 8 months might actually be no, don't go there. Don't start hoping. My phone buzzed. A text from Jake. Can we talk? I stared at the message. 3 words that felt impossibly heavy. I typed back, yeah, when? Now, other room. Living room, please. Then another. Then I stood up, smoothed down my shirt like that would somehow make this less awkward, and walked out into the living room. Jake was already there, sitting on the couch, looking like he might throw up. His hair was messy from the other guy's hands. My brain supplied unhelpfully, and his face was flushed. He looked up when I entered, and I saw genuine fear in his eyes. Ethan, he started, then stopped. I don't even know where to begin. I sat down in the armchair across from him, maintaining distance. You don't have to explain anything to me. It's your life, your business. I shouldn't have just walked in without knocking. Now I want to explain. I need to. Jake ran his hands through his hair, making it messier. That was Marcus. We've been seeing each other for about 3 months. 3 months. For 3 months, Jake had been secretly dating a man while I'd been living in this apartment, completely oblivious. Okay, I said, because what else was there to say? I'm not. Jake stopped again, searching for words. I've never told anyone. You're the first person who knows. Well, who knows without me planning to tell them? The weight of that statement settled over the room. I was the first person, not his family, not his other friends. Just me, and only because I'd accidentally discovered it. Are you gay? I asked, then immediately wanted to take it back. Sorry, that's not my business, I don't know. Jake's voice cracked. I don't know what I am. I like women. I've dated women. I loved Sarah, his ex-girlfriend. But I'm attracted to men, to Marcus. And I don't know what that makes me, and I'm terrified that if I tell anyone, he stopped abruptly, pressing his palms against his eyes. My heart broke for him, because I knew that fear. I'd lived that fear when I was 17, lying awake at night, terrified of what it meant that I only ever thought about boys, terrified of disappointing my parents, losing my friends, becoming something other than what everyone expected me to be. I'd come out at 19 after 2 years of internal torture. It had been hard. My parents had needed time to adjust. Some friends had drifted away. But I'd survived it, and now at 26, I was comfortable with who I was. Jake was 28 and still hiding. "Hey," I said softly. "Jake, look at me." He lowered his hands. His eyes were red. "You don't have to have it all figured out right now," I told him. "You don't have to label yourself if you're not ready. And you definitely don't have to tell anyone before you're ready. This is your journey, your timeline. You're not. You're not going to tell anyone?" The question hurt more than it should have. "Of course not. Jake, this is your story to tell, not mine." He exhaled shakily. "I'm sorry you found out like this. I've been meaning to tell you, actually. You're the person in my life who I thought might understand. But I kept chickening out." "Why did you think I would understand?" Jake gave me a look that was almost a smile. "Ethan, you have a rainbow flag on your keychain. Your laptop is covered in pride stickers. You once had a 3-hour debate with our neighbor about queer representation in media. You're not exactly subtle about being gay." "Despite everything," I laughed. "Fair point. I wanted to ask you about it. About coming out. About how you knew. About what it was like. But I didn't know how to bring it up without making it obvious that I was asking for myself, not just out of curiosity." "You can ask me anything," I said. "Anytime. I mean it." Jake nodded slowly. "Thank you. That means thank you." Sat in silence for a moment. Then I asked, "Does Marcus know that you're not out?" "Yeah, he's been really patient about it. More patient than I deserve, probably." "Where is he now?" "He left through the window." Jake's laugh was slightly hysterical, like a teenager sneaking out. "We're grown men, and he climbed out my bedroom window because we panicked." I couldn't help but laugh, too. The absurdity of the situation was starting to sink in. "Is he okay?" I texted him. "He's fine. Probably thinks I'm insane." "For what it's worth," I said, "I think you're brave. Even if you're not ready to tell everyone, the fact that you're exploring this part of yourself, that you're being honest with yourself, even if you're not ready to be honest with others, ... that takes courage." Jake's eyes met mine, and there was something in his expression I couldn't quite read. "You really think so?" "I know so." He was quiet for a long moment, then said, "Ethan, can I ask you something?" "Sure. Have you ever had feelings for someone you lived with? Someone you probably shouldn't have feelings for?" My heart stopped, then started again, beating double time. Was he asking what I thought he was asking? "Yes," I admitted carefully. "Why?" Jake looked down at his hands. "Because I think I've been lying to myself about more than just my sexuality." The air in the room changed, charged with possibility and danger in equal measure. "What do you mean?" My voice came out quieter than I intended. Jake finally looked up at me again. The vulnerability in his eyes made my chest ache. "I think the reason I was so scared to tell you specifically wasn't just because you're the first person who would know. I think I was scared because of how much your opinion matters to me. How much you matter to me." Oh, Jake, you don't have to say anything. I know I'm a mess right now. I know I don't have my shit together. I'm not even asking for anything. I needed you to know that these last 8 months, living with you, getting to know you, it's been the best part of my life. And also the most confusing. Because somewhere along the way, I stopped being able to pretend that what I felt for you was just friendship. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Jake had feelings for me. Jake, who I'd been trying so hard not to want because I thought he was straight and unavailable and completely off limits. "I don't know what to say," I whispered. "You don't have to say anything. Like I said, I'm not asking for anything. You didn't sign up to be someone's gay awakening, or whatever this is." He laughed, but it sounded painful. "I just needed you to know the truth. All of it." I looked at him, at the fear and hope warring in his expression, at the way his hands were clasped tightly together like he was physically holding himself back, at the man I'd been falling for in secret, who was apparently falling for me too. "I have feelings for you too," I said before I could stop myself. "I have for months. Since God, I don't even know when it started. But I didn't think. I thought you were straight. I thought there was no possibility, so I just tried to be your friend and ignore everything else." Really? But Jake, I meant what I said. You need to figure yourself out first. I don't want to be an experiment. I don't want to be the person you use to test out your sexuality and then regret later. You wouldn't be. Ethan, you wouldn't be an experiment. These feelings, they're real. They're asterisk. The most real thing I've felt in a long time? Maybe. But you're in a relationship with Marcus. And you're not out. And you're still figuring out who you are. This is complicated, I know. Jake slumped back against the couch. You're right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said anything. I should have just let you think I'm some closeted guy you walked in on and left it at that. I'm glad you told me, I said honestly. But I think we both need to take a step back and think about what this means. For both of us. Jake nodded miserably. Yeah. Okay. I stood up. My legs felt unsteady. I'm going to go to my room for a bit. Process all of this. Are we okay? Are we? I managed to smile. Yeah, we're okay. Just... Let's give each other some space tonight, okay, Ethan? Yeah, thank you. For not freaking out? For not judging me? For being ... you. I nodded, not trusting my voice, and retreated to my room. Once the door was closed behind me, I collapsed onto my bed and stared at the ceiling. What the hell just happened? I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Jake kissing Marcus. Then I saw Jake looking at me, saying, "I have feelings for you." Then I spiraled into anxiety about what this meant, what I should do, whether I'd made a mistake by admitting my own feelings. By 3 a.m., I was lying in bed, scrolling through my phone, trying to distract myself. I pulled up my messages with my best friend Carmen and stared at the screen for 10 minutes before finally typing, "You awake?" The response was immediate. Unfortunately, yes. Baby has decided sleep is for the weak. What's up? Carmen had just had her first child 2 months ago. She was exhausted, overwhelmed, and somehow still the most grounded person I knew. Something happened with Jake. Yeah, what happened with Jake? Accidentally walked in on him kissing another guy. What? Yeah, turns out he's not straight. Or he's questioning. I don't know. And then we talked, and he told me he has feelings for me. Ethan, what the actual fuck I know? I need you to call me. Right now. I hesitated, then hit the call button. Carmen answered immediately, whispering so she wouldn't wake the baby. Tell me everything she demanded, so I did. The whole story, from walking into Jake's room to his confession to my admission of my own feelings. Carmen listened without interrupting, which was unlike her, which meant she understood how serious this was. When I finished, there was a long pause. Okay, she finally said. First of all, I need you to know that I'm thrilled. I've been watching you pine over this man for 8 months, and it's been painful. I wasn't pining. You were absolutely pining. You talked about him constantly. Jake made the funniest joke today. Jake and I watched this great movie. Jake accidentally bought my favorite coffee creamer. It was adorable and sad. I groaned. Was I that obvious? To me? Yes. To him. Apparently not, since he thought his feelings were one-sided. She paused. But Ethan, I'm worried. About what? About you getting hurt. This guy is figuring out his sexuality. He's in a relationship with someone else. He's not out. There's so many ways this could go wrong. I know. That's why I told him we need space. Good, that was the right call. Another pause. But I also think, if he really does have feelings for you, if this is real, maybe it's worth the risk. Carmen, you just said you were worried about me getting hurt. I am. But I'm also your best friend, and I've watched you date guys who were perfectly nice and perfectly wrong for you. And then I've watched you light up whenever Jake's name comes up. If there's even a chance that this could be something real, ... don't Don't you owe it to yourself to explore that? He has a boyfriend that he needs to figure out. Obviously, nothing happens until he sorts that situation out. But after that, I think you should give this a real chance. I sighed. What if I'm just a phase for him? What if he's just curious, and I'm convenient because we live together? Then you'll have your heart broken, and I'll come over with ice cream and help you plan your revenge. But Ethan, you can't protect yourself from ever getting hurt. That's not how life works. She was right. I knew she was right. When did you get so wise? I asked. Sleep deprivation does weird things to the brain. Now go to sleep and text me updates. I need something to distract me from changing diapers. I promised I would and hung up. Sleep still didn't come. Around 5 a.m., I heard Jake's door open. Footsteps in the hallway. The bathroom door closing. Water running. At 7 a.m., there was a soft knock on my door. Ethan, you awake? I sat up. Yeah, come in. Jake opened the door slowly, like he was afraid I might throw something at him. He looked as rough as I felt, dark circles under his eyes, hair sticking up at odd angles, still wearing yesterday's clothes. I couldn't sleep, he said. Me neither. Can I sit? I nodded, and he sat down on the edge of my bed, maintaining careful distance between us. I talked to Marcus, Jake said quietly. After you went to your room, I called him, and we talked for 3 hours. My stomach tightened. What did you tell him? Everything. That you walked in on us? That we talked. That I told you about my feelings. He looked down at his hands. That I have feelings for someone else. How did he take it? Better than I deserved. He said he'd been waiting for this conversation. Jake's laugh was humorless. He said he could tell I was holding back, that I wasn't fully present in our relationship. He asked if it was you, and I couldn't lie to him. Jake, we broke up. Mutually, he said he cares about me too much to be with someone who's in love with someone else. The words hung in the air between us. He said that, I asked, that you're in love with me? Jake finally looked at me, and the expression in his eyes made my heart race. No, I said that. Oh, God. Jake, you can't. We barely know each other. We've been roommates for 8 months. You can't be in love with me? Why not? Because that's not how it works. Love takes time. It takes knowing someone deeply. It takes I know your coffee order by heart, Jake interrupted. I know you read the last page of a book first because you have anxiety about sad endings. I know you call your mom every Sunday at exactly 2 p.m. I know you do this thing where you hum while you cook and you don't even realize you're doing it. I know you rearrange the books at the store when you think no one's looking, putting your favorites at eye level. I know you're terrified of thunderstorms, but you pretend you're not. I know you cry during animated movies, but not during horror films. I know you, Ethan. Maybe not everything, but I know enough to know that what I feel is real. I couldn't speak. My throat had closed up completely. I'm not asking you to feel the same way, Jake continued. I'm not asking you to say it back. I'm just telling you where I'm at. Because I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of being afraid. You asked me last night if I'd ever had feelings for a roommate. The truth is, I've never felt this way about anyone. Not Sarah. Not Marcus. Just you. What happens now? I managed to whisper. Don't know. I know I need to figure out my sexuality. I know I need to come out, at least to the people close to me. I know I need to get my life together before I can ask you for anything. But I also know that I want to try. If you'll let me? I looked at him. At the vulnerability and determination in equal measure. At this man who had somehow become the center of my world without me even noticing. I'm scared, I admitted. Me too, but I want to be your experiment. You're not. Ethan, you're not an experiment. He stopped, searching for words. You're the first thing that's made sense in a long time. I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to believe him so badly. What about your family? I asked. Your friends? Your coworkers? Are you ready to be out? Jake's expression flickered with fear, but he didn't look away. I don't know if I'm ready, but I know I need to be. I can't keep living like this, hiding who I am. It's killing me. It's coming out as hard, I said softly. It's one of the hardest things you'll ever do. Some people will surprise you with their support. Others will disappoint you. And once you do it, you can't take it back. That's why I need time. To do it right. To be ready, paused, but I want to do it. For myself. And ... For you. For us, there is no us yet, I reminded him gently. But there could be. Someday if you're willing to wait. I thought about Carmen's words. About how I couldn't protect myself from ever getting hurt. About how the only way to find real love was to be willing to risk heartbreak. How much time do you need? I asked. I don't know. A few months? Maybe longer? I know that's not fair to ask. It's not about fair, I interrupted. It's about whether I can do this. Whether I can live with you, knowing how we both feel, and not act on it while you figure things out. Can you? Could I? Could I watch Jake every day? Knowing he had feelings for me? Knowing I had feelings for him? And keep that distance? Could I be patient while he navigated coming out? Could I risk that he might change his mind, that these feelings might not survive the light of day? I don't know, I said honestly. But I want to try. Hope bloomed on Jake's face. Really? Really? But Jake, I need you to understand something. I can be your friend through this. I can support you while you figure out your sexuality and come out and deal with all of that. But I can't be more than that until you're ready. Until you're really ready. I won't be a secret. I wouldn't ask you to be. And if you realize that this was just a phase, or that you're not actually attracted to men, or that I was just a safe person to have feelings for because we live together, you have to tell me immediately. I can handle rejection. I can't handle being strung along, I understand. Jake's voice was serious. And I promise, I will be honest with you. About everything. We sat in silence for a moment, the weight of this new understanding settling over us. So what now? Jake finally asked. Now we go back to being roommates. Friends. And you work on yourself, and I work on being patient. And we see what happens. That sounds reasonable and mature and completely terrifying. I laughed despite myself. Yeah, it really does. Jake stood up, and for a moment, I thought he might try to hug me, or kiss me, or do something that would make this harder than it already was. But he just smiled, a real, genuine smile that made my heart ache. Thank you, Ethan, for giving me a chance. For being patient, for ... everything. Thank you for being honest with me. He nodded and left. Closing the door softly behind him, I fell back onto my bed and stared at the ceiling. What had I just agreed to? The next few weeks were an exercise in torture. Living with Jake had always been comfortable. Easy. We'd fallen into a natural rhythm-splitting chores. Sharing meals, existing in the same space without friction. Now, every interaction felt charged with meaning. When Jake made coffee in the morning and automatically poured me a cup, it felt intimate. When we sat on the couch watching TV, the space between us felt simultaneously too much and not enough. When he laughed at one of my jokes, I couldn't help but wonder if he was looking at me differently than he used to. It was exhausting. He looked miserable. Carmen observed when we met for coffee 2 weeks after the conversation. She'd managed to escape the house for an hour, leaving her husband with the baby, and looked almost human again. I'm fine, I lied. Ethan, I've known you since college. You're a terrible liar? She stirred her latte. What's going on with Jake? I sighed and told her about the last 2 weeks. About how Jake had been true to his word. He was working on himself, starting therapy, reading books about sexuality and identity. About how he'd been nothing but respectful of the boundaries we'd set. About how that somehow made it worse, because I could see him trying so hard, and I wanted so badly to tell him it was okay. We could try. We didn't have to wait. But you're waiting anyway, Carmen said. Because you're smart enough to know that rushing would be a disaster. I hate being smart, I know, honey. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. But you're doing the right thing. Has he made any progress on coming out? He told his sister last week. Carmen's eyebrows shot up. That's huge. How did it go? Really well, actually. She told him she'd suspected for a while. that she was proud of him for being honest with himself, all the supportive sister things. He cried for like an hour after the call, and his parents. Not yet. He's working up to it. They single, quotes, religious. He's worried they won't take it well. Carmen nodded sympathetically. That's tough. What about his friends? He told his best friend from college. That one didn't go as well. The guy basically said he needed time to process and hasn't talked to Jake since. Oh no, yeah, Jake's been pretty devastated about it. He keeps questioning whether he should have just stayed in the closet, whether it's worth losing people. What do you tell him? That it's worth it. That anyone who can't accept him for who he is doesn't deserve him. That it gets better. I took a sip of my coffee. All the things people told me when I came out. I just hope I'm right. You are. It does get better. So you're playing the supportive friend role. That's what I agreed to. And how's that working out for your mental health? I groaned. It's killing me, Carmen. I live with him. I see him every day. And I can see that he's struggling, and I want to help. But I also want to kiss him. Like all the time. And I can't, because we have boundaries, and I'm trying to be respectful. But it's so hard. Have you told him this? No, he's dealing with enough. He doesn't need to know that I'm sitting here pining like a teenager. Ethan, he told you he's in love with you. I think he'd want to know that you're struggling too. It might actually help him to know he's not alone in this. I hadn't thought about it that way. That night I got home from work to find Jake in the kitchen cooking dinner. He'd taken to doing this more often lately, making elaborate meals that we'd eat together while talking about our days. It felt domestic in a way that made my chest ache. Hey, he greeted me with a smile. How was work? Long. Mrs. Henderson came in and spent 2 hours asking me to recommend books and then bought nothing. Jake laughed. Sounds about right. I made pasta. Hope that's okay. It's perfect. I dropped my bag and moved to help him. Falling into our usual routine of working side by side in the kitchen. Have news, Jake said as he stirred the sauce. My heart jumped. Good news or bad news? Good news, I think. Maybe scary news. He took a breath. I told my parents. I nearly dropped the plates I was holding. You what? I called them this morning. Told them I needed to talk to them about something important. And then I said it. I'm bisexual. I'm attracted to men and women, Jake. I set down the plates and turned to face him. That's huge. How did they react? His expression was complicated. Better than I expected, worse than I hoped. My dad was quiet. My mom cried. They said they needed time to process, but they love me. My mom asked if I was sure, if maybe I was just confused, but they didn't kick me out of the family or anything. That's good, right? It's better than I feared. I don't know if it's good yet. They want to talk more this weekend. He turned off the stove and faced me. But Ethan, I did it. I told them. I'm out to my family now. The pride in his voice was unmistakable, and I felt my own chest swell with pride for him. I'm so proud of you, I said, and meant it completely. You. For everything. I know I keep saying that, but I mean it. I couldn't have done this without you. We stood there in the kitchen, the pasta getting cold on the stove, looking at each other. The air between us felt electric. Jake, I said softly, can I ask you something? Anything? Are you happy? Like overall. Despite how hard this is, are you happy that you're doing it? He considered the question seriously. Yeah, I am. I feel like I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be. It's terrifying. But it's also ... liberating. Like I've been carrying around this massive weight and I'm finally putting it down. Good. That's good. What about you? Jake asked. Are you happy? The question caught me off guard. What do you mean? I mean, I know this situation isn't easy for you either. Waiting for me to get my shit together. Living with me while we both have feelings we're not acting on. Are you happy? Or are you miserable? I thought about lying. About telling him I was fine. Everything was fine. But Carmen's words echoed in my head. He'd want to know that you're struggling too. Honestly. I said. I'm both. I'm happy that you're figuring yourself out. I'm proud of you for being brave enough to come out. But I'm struggling. Because I like you so much, Jake. And I want to be patient. I want to give you the time you need. But living with you, seeing you every day, knowing how we both feel, it's hard. Jake's expression softened. I'm sorry. I never wanted to make things harder for you. No. And it's not your fault. This is just the situation we're in. But I wanted to be honest with you. You're not the only one who's finding this difficult. Thank you for telling me. Jake took a step closer. Ethan, I need you to know something. This isn't just me figuring out my sexuality. If it was just about that, I could do it on my own. But it's not. It's about you. It's about us. About the fact that I wake up every morning and the first thing I think about is whether you're awake yet. About how my favorite part of the day is when we're both home and we're just ... existing together. About how I'm doing all of this coming out, going to therapy, facing my fears because I want to be worthy of you. My breath caught. Jake, I know we're waiting. I know we have to wait. But I need you to know that for me, this isn't uncertain. My feelings for you aren't something I'm still figuring out. I'm sure about you, Ethan. The only thing I'm figuring out is how to be the kind of person who deserves you. I didn't know what to say to that. How do you respond when someone tells you they're becoming a better person for you? You already deserve me, I finally managed. You already do. Jake smiled, and it was soft and sad and hopeful all at once. Then I'm doing this to deserve myself too. To be someone I can be proud of. We ate dinner together, the conversation lighter after that heavy moment. But something had shifted. The waiting didn't feel quite so unbearable anymore. Because I knew now that Jake was as invested in this as I was. That he wasn't just figuring things out, he was working toward us that night. As I was getting ready for bed, my phone buzzed with a text from Jake. Thank you for being honest with me today. For telling me you're struggling too. It helps to know I'm not alone in this. I texted back, you're never alone in this. I'm here. For however long it takes. His response came quickly. I don't deserve you. Stop saying that, I typed. You deserve to be happy. We both do. Good night, Ethan. Sweet dreams. Good night. Jake, I fell asleep with my phone in my hand and a smile on my face. Despite everything, 6 weeks after the conversation, things came to a head in the worst possible way. It started with a bad day at work. One of those days where everything that could go wrong did go wrong. A pipe burst in the bookstore, damaging dozens of books. My manager blamed me for not catching the leak sooner, even though I'd been off for 2 days when it started. A customer yelled at me for not having a book in stock that had been out of print for 20 years. My ex-boyfriend showed up and made a scene about me not returning his texts. Even though we'd broken up 8 months ago, by the time I got home, I was wound so tight I felt like I might shatter. Jake was in the living room, laptop open, working on something. He looked up when I came in and immediately frowned. Bad day? The worst. I dropped my bag and collapsed onto the couch next to him. Tell me something good, please. I need something good. Jake closed his laptop. "'Kay, something good," I told my coworkers today. About being bi, I sat up straight.